Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Hearthstone deck spotlight. My name is Tommy Wave, and today we'll be taking a look at Solem's Carpet Zoolock. Carpet Zoolock's been one of my favourite decks of this expansion so far. We actually played some of Wabaka's Carpet Zoolock the other day, and it was tremendous. It was really good. It's very much a deck that has a lot of explosive potential. And I think Magic Carpet really gives you the leg up in terms of opposing minion matchups, as if you land a carpet and your opponent doesn't answer it, then you can really just start amassing value. You know, you start trading a lot better than your opponent, you start trading up on your opponent, and these buffs do stick around. They don't last until the end of the turn. Now, you might be asking, well, what's the difference between Wabaka's list and Solem's list here? I think Solem's list, this is... if you told me you're playing Zoolock or something like that, I think this is kind of the list that we'd expect to come up with. You know, a few of the better one drops. You know, Crystallizer Flame Imp, absolutely. Mecharoo goes with some of the egg plans. Voidwalker. You know, I think maybe Argent Squire is the other really good one drop, but you know, you've got a good selection of one drops. You've got these excellent two drops that you know, your opponent really does have to answer, like Direwolf Alpha, Knife Juggler, and then we've got this little egg package here with Scarab Egg, Evil Genius, you know, ways, and of course Grim Rally, ways for you to crack that egg, build a wide board, get some Knife Juggler triggers, make use of Direwolf Alpha. Everything kind of synergizes quite nicely. The main difference, however, is Wabaka went for an extremely aggressive list. 17 one-drops there, of which 12 are minions. Very refined two-drop package, really just playing those high-impact ones, and then a one-off Crazed Alchemist, just a bit of utility. And then outside of that, the only non-1 and 2 drops in the deck are 2 Carpets, 1 Leroy, 1 Sea Giant. So very committed to aggression, very focused, and very low to the ground. Whereas Solem's list does just have only the 8 1-drop minions, still playing the same 5 spells, 2 Soulfire, 1 Solarium, 2 Grim Rally. Expands on the 2-drop slot, doesn't expand on the 2-drop slot, just swap the Crazed Alchemist for a Hench Clan Hogsteed, but instead we've got 2 Defender of Argus to kind of help support that go wide theme. We can plop this down, get some extra buffs. We've also got an extra Sea Giant and Archvillain Refarm. So whilst Wabaka's list was very focused on getting the opponent dead, didn't really have much recourse once we got to turn, you know, 7, 8, 9. Really, if the opponent wasn't dead by then, they were probably dead. Instead, Solem does have a bit of a backup plan with Archvillain Refarm. If we do come up against a control deck that just has answers, we can just try and draw into our Refarm, drop that, and roll the dice and see if we can win. We typically saw this in previous iterations of Zoolock, where people would include Blood Reaver Gul'dan, and I think the success of that is very mixed. Obviously now we don't have Doom Guards around, so you're probably not going to be discarding this Archvillain Refarm very often. But I think the reception of that was, like I said, quite mixed. Yes, Gul'dan will win you games that you otherwise don't deserve to win, but the opportunity cost is massive. That guy costs 10. The opportunity cost on Archvillain Refarm is significantly less, but it is still there. It's still, you know, not a 1, 2, or 3 drop minion that you can be deploying early in the game. If we do draw it early, it's going to take up a slot in our hand that we could otherwise be using to potentially kill our opponent. So that's probably the main thing that we're going to be keeping an eye on throughout these games, is how many times do we have to use Archvillain Refarm to win a game? How many times does potentially drawing this card actually cost us the game, or cost us you know, the ability to deploy more minions? The only other thing that I want to point out is, especially with this Defender of Argus, I've actually been really cold on this card, especially for the last couple of expansions. Not only has it been completely overshadowed by Fungal Mancer, which has rotated out, but I also think that Dark Iron Dwarf is a bit of a better choice these days. I think the stats are really important. You know, there's a lot of kind of efficient removal out there that can deal a damage here, deal a damage there, you know, hero powers as well. This 4/4 body is a bit more resilient, especially to, you know, blast waves and lightning storms and smaller Hagatha schemes. You still get the immediate +2 power. You only have to have one thing on the board as well for it to to get some kind of advantage. Is a better top deck just because of the body, whereas Defender of Argus is terrible top deck. So that's the other thing I want to keep an eye on, is how good this Defender of Argus is. Could we be swapping it for Dark Iron Dwarf? Could we be doing like a 1-and-1 split? Maybe getting some more 4-drops in there, doing a 2-1 split? Or is the 4-drop slot just, you know, not very good, and we should really be focusing more like the Wabaka deck on 1-drops and getting advantage out of our Magic Carpet? Regardless, this video is not necessarily about wins, it's about learns. I do want to learn our way around these Carpet Zoolocks, and you know, figure out where the best build lies. So, without further ado, let's get going with Solem's Carpet Zoolock. Alright, here with Solem's Carpet Zoolock, up against the Hunter. Not a great hand here. I think Hunter is a deck that we can have a pretty good win rate in, and this Carpet is going to be a big part of that.
Greetings, traveler.
I greet you.
We'll consider tapping next turn, potentially, depending on what we draw. Ooh, spells. I think we'll tap. If our opponent wants to try and go for a Wandering Monster next turn, I think we can... Okay. I think we can drop the Magic Carpet and not attack. So one part of this deck not having so many 1-drops is, of course, that the Carpet is a little bit diminished in how effective it is.
My shield for Argus.
Really necessary?
Also, I will say the lower amount of 1-drops and increased amount of larger drops does make Solarium a little bit weaker as well. Just make sure we get our positioning kind of right, because I believe when this egg pops, they all pop on the right side. Oh my gosh. I think our opponent just really wants an arcane shot right here. Well, they've already got it. Oh, rapid fire. Fair enough. Our opponent did not want us to have things on board. They're doing a very good job of clearing it, though. I think this is a Solarium turn. Okay. This is bad if they maybe... I mean, we lose a little bit of value off of the egg if they kill it first, but... I also don't think there's many Hunter cards that get our opponent out of this situation that aren't, you know, Explosive Trap or something like that. And mine, Unleash the Hounds is a good option. If our opponent has 2 of them, that would be bad. If our opponent has maybe a Timberwolf or a Animal Companion. Oh, Kill Command. I mean, seeing Kill Command in this deck makes me feel a lot better against it. Like, it means our opponent's probably playing some kind of mid-rangey or tempo-favored deck.
Why do you call?
Getting pretty close here. It's possible we could have risked it by going like Leroy. Could we have, no, we couldn't have tapped. I guess we could have got it if we went Leroy, Soulfire, discarded one of the minions. And... Anyway, can we get it now? 2, 4, 5, 7 is 12, and the rest, yeah, cool. Got him. GG. So, definitely a game where we didn't get too much value out of the carpet in terms of its effect didn't really go. But our opponent did have to expend a lot of resources to kill it. Like, they were clearly extremely perturbed by this carpet, which is a very good thing. Even if our carpet doesn't do anything, the fact that it absorbed so many spells is fantastic. The Defender of Argus was actually okay, but I think in that situation, even a Dark Iron Dwarf would have been fine. In fact, in that exact situation, I think just a bunch of 1-drops would have been fine as well, because we already had the carpet on board. But very minute things, and it's only one game. GG. Let's get on to the next one.
Who shall be mine?
Okay, up against the Rogue here. Voidwalker, a pretty good draw. Now, one of the things I will say when I was playing the Wabika version of this deck is we came up against a lot of rogues. I think I came up against 4 or 5 rogues in a row, and none of the games felt remotely close. We absolutely crushed it. So, be interesting to see here how our opponent, how this deck fares against the rogue matchup. Already a rough start. Hopefully these boys last. We might be able to coin out this Defender of Argus.
Halt! Who goes there?
Now I kind of want to discard it. So I do want to Soulfire this this guy. Don't particularly want to discard this Evil Genius. Let's hope we discard this coin. Nice. Yeah, let's just get the Crystallizer out. I think this Voidwalker is going to be quite good at goofing up this Wicked Knife. Also, a lot of these decks play the Waggle Pick, things like that. So just having a random taunt around could definitely help us. Uru. Is our farm?
I wonder.
I think I want to trade. I think we potentially risk our opponent having some kind of explosive turn with like SI7s or something. Demon Fire. Alright, well, let's see what we discover.
From nothing.
Is it a demon? Never. Never is. Guess we can just take the drain life and drain life this, play the lackey. Unfortunately, this board doesn't look too great. The other option is we could have taken Sense Demons and tried to get a big hand for our farm. Ooh. I mean, we could Hogsteed and trade. I think we do want to go for the Refarm this game. Let's just, ooh. Yeah, we'll go for the Defender of Argus. Get some damage in.
How much is this worth to you?
Prep. Prep Shadow Flame. Damn. Tight. Face. Okay. Face is a interesting decision. Yeah, nice. What do we pair this Floop with? We could get a 3/4 charger. We could get another Caligos. So we only do have 7 mana, right? So I guess next turn we are just probably... Oh, maybe we go Dorian draw. Oh, jeez. Opponent didn't let us have any fun. Interesting. I'm not sure if that's a game that we would have been able to... It's hard to look at that game and be like, well, if that card was instead if that Archvillain Refarm was instead like an Argent Squire or a Saturnight Taskmaster, would we have been able to win that game? Unsure. I mean, we did have the carpet going on, and we probably would have informed our decisions a bit better, so that is a tough one. But Archvillain Refarm doing its job, giving us a shot in that late game. So, GG's.
It shall be mine.
Okay. Up against the Shaman. I really do value 1-drops, so I'm going to kick back the Direwolf Alpha. Like I said, we only have 8, so even if we send back 2 cards, we are still likely to hit one in 3 cards. But I think having the 1-drop's better than having a 2-drop. Possibly we should have opened with the Mecharoo, because that curves better into Evil Genius. I think I'm just going to tap up. Kind of going to go for the strat where we land the carpet and then try and get value off of it. Also, don't really want to run into a top set again. I will kill this spell launch total. Helps against, you know, there are a lot of these decks running Earth Shocks and Zaps and things like that. See if our opponent freaks out and coins a Hex. Ooh, Scarabeg is a really good draw. It will protect us from Lightning Storm. So I think I'm going to go... No, let's go. Is tempting to use the Grim Rally, but I think this Scarabeg is Actually, probably the best card in this matchup. Simply because our opponent will have to run removal. Yeah, Warlock spells aren't good. Huh. I guess we'll take the removal. Alright, let's see if our opponent has the other Lightning Storm. If they don't, we're definitely going to go for some Groom Rally shenanigans.
I wonder.
Might even be lethal. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, lethal with Grim Rally. On your opponent. They could have also gotten something spicy off that Haunting Visions, but given that they didn't play it that turn.
What to do?
Coin, Hex your Direwolf. That's got to be real close to lethal. Let's count it out. So 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, the rest. Cool.
Double time and double play.
Yeah, so definitely Scarabeg, most important card in the matchup. As generally when we play against the Control Shaman with other aggro decks, we also have to rely on cards like Soul of the Forest. These are the stickier minions. So definitely, I think that's something to very early on put in our little mulligan handbook, that if we're up against a Shaman, when we think the Shaman's a Control Shaman, we should be looking for Scarabeg to wreck them, to wreck our opponents. Now, as far as what we learnt from those games, I think Archvillain Reform is a pretty reasonable card. I think if you are the type of player who... It's going to be a weird thing to say, but I think if you are a newer player, particularly a newer player to aggressive decks, or maybe you don't have a lot of confidence in your aggressive deck play, Archvillain Reform is a great catch-all. It means that if you're the type of person who's unsure if you should be trading or going face, things like that, I think Archvillain Reform is going to bail you out of a lot of situations where you're like, oh, I should have been going face there, and now I have almost no resources. At least Reform can get you back in the game. Now, as far as the 1-drops versus everything else goes, honestly, I do want to play some more games with this Defender of Argus. Actually, what's our played win rate on this Defender of Argus? I actually have the deck stats right here. We've played... How many games have been played? Doesn't say. But as far as the mulligan goes... I mean, the played win rate on Defender of Argus is lower than our average win rate. The lowest played win rate card is Archvillain Reform in this deck. So I guess that is actually kind of interesting, just how low impact Archvillain Reform is. But yeah, I'd like to experiment by maybe cutting these and playing the Dark Iron Dwarves, or experimenting with some different 1-drops, particularly Argent Squire. I think Argent Squire with Magic Carpet is a very sweet one. Regardless, if you are interested in checking out that the other Carpet Zoolocks, check them out on the channel. Why? Because Carpet Zoolock. But big shout out to Solem. I think this deck is also really, really solid, especially with the 2 Sea Giants. I really want to play some more games to see how well those go. Definitely go check out Solem's content. Go check out on YouTube, on Twitch. And until next time, stay safe, stay wavy, eat the rich, and do evil. Bye. I hope you enjoyed that video. Check out other ones over here, or come subscribe to the Wave Pool for more excellent times.